Hey everybody, welcome to If You Don't Like That. And the big news in the sports world, Tom Thibodeau out as Knicks head coach. So the Knicks make it to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. Thibodeau came into a dysfunctional, annually losing franchise and takes them to the playoffs every year but one. Last year gets decimated by injuries in the postseason, loses in round two in 7 games to Indiana when he had nobody to put on the floor. This year, beats the Boston Celtics, who's really been a nemesis of the Knicks. Loses to Indiana, a really good basketball team, and he's gone, out. There are certain franchises in sport where ownership just can't help themselves. And it is mind-boggling to me how Tom Thibodeau is no longer the coach of the Knicks after what they accomplished this year. It's mind-boggling. Really is. I don't have any explanation for it other than when you have an owner like James Dolan, they normally will figure a way to screw it up if and when things go well. As one of the tabloids in New York said today, the Knicks better have a Joe Torre lined up. And right now, it will be very interesting to see who is the successor to Tom Thibodeau, but mind-boggling to me. It really is. I'm like blown away that the Knicks lose in the Eastern Conference Finals to a really good team on a roll. I mean, you got to remember that team beat Giannis in Milwaukee. They beat the number 1 seed in Cleveland. They beat the number 3 seed in the Knicks. They were a 4 seed, and Tom Thibodeau loses his job. I don't understand it. I really do not understand it, other than when you have bad ownership, those things happen. Mr. Smile says, Grant, I need a rant about Kings fans going crazy about the Pacers going to the finals. Do you mean because of Tyrese Halliburton? Chris from Louisville, hello. Thanks for joining me from Louisville. Is that what you mean, Mr. Smile, because of Tyrese going to the finals? I think Kings fans are going to be living with this for a long time because Halliburton is just entering his prime. And barring injury, he's only going to get better and better and better. Said the Kings can't turn the page on Halliburton. That's just being a fan. They'll never turn the page. They'll never turn the page. Just the way it is. They'll never turn the page. Now, I said this back in March, or maybe it was April, when Michael Malone was fired as the head coach of the Denver Nuggets. I predicted then that he would be the next head coach of the Knicks. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. It would not surprise me at all if that happens. Was there something we don't know inside the Knicks locker room? Well, I don't have any way of knowing that. I'll find out, though. I'll find out in the next 24 hours. There's always things going on in some locker room. You're never going to get all the players to love a coach, and that's just the way it is in pro sports. Just the way it is. But I'll find out. I'll know exactly what happened. I will find out. Glad that you have joined me here on this open forum. Hope you enjoyed Jerry Reynolds on with Rhino in Sacktown. We've got the link for you to call the show. You can do so. Love to be able to talk with you. Who do you like in the Stanley Cup Finals? Who do you like in the NBA Finals? Will you even watch the NBA Finals? We'll be on. Rhino's going to join me after the game on Thursday, so we'll have a post game after the Pacers and the Thunder in Game 1. Grant, how can Vivek possibly look at this team and actually think we can compete for a playoff spot next season? If it was up to me, I would blow this up and start a rebuild. He must be delusional. I don't need to answer that question. Am I getting excited for the Cup Finals, Sea-Dog? Yes. I'm ready for a great series. I know who you're rooting for, buddy. I got to tell you, on the surface, I think Florida is a better team. Paul Maurice is just an incredible coach. I mean, obviously, they've made it to the Stanley Cup Finals now 3 years in a row. They were dominant last year. They were dominant this year. I mean, Draisaitl and McDavid are so special. Sea-Dog, it comes down to goaltending. Comes down to goaltending. But it should be fun. I can't wait. Again, use the link to call the show. Here it is. All right? Give me a shout. CD says, it's a wild stab, but I'm taking Edmonton in 7 games. Be great for the country of Canada. Been a long time. And if you are a fan of superstars, you would want to watch this series because Connor McDavid is special with a capital S. He is great. He's just great, plain and simple. Mr. Smiles says OKC is just well coached and has defense and offense and great chemistry. Well, they won 60-plus games, so that tells you a lot. But I think Rick Carlisle may be the best coach in basketball. I think when you look at Indiana, the days off between what they just accomplished in Game 1 is not good for them because they're riding an amazing wave. They got great momentum, and I don't think that necessarily benefits them. But, you know, Oklahoma City has shown some vulnerabilities throughout the playoffs with really bad losses. And they got very fortunate in Memphis when Morant went down. Those games are very tight after they blew them out in games 1 and 2. You know, we saw what happened in the Denver series. You know, Denver was able to extend that to 7 games. And then you saw the awful loss that Oklahoma City had in Minnesota in Game 3, where were they down by 40? So they have shown some vulnerabilities. We'll see if Indiana can capitalize on that. Do I think Aaron Judge can win the Triple Crown, the first Yankee to get it? He certainly looks like he's on pace. But I think when you get to the dog days of summer, the attrition, I think I'm going to say no. I don't think he'll do it. You know? I understand. Since Mickey Mantle, you added. I understand. OKC is going to be a dynasty for the next 10 years. They look like they could be. They have the number 1 picks lined up. They've got the assets lined up. There's absolutely no way that you would think that they're going to fall off the radar. I don't have any thoughts on Anthony Black from the Magic. You keep on asking me, and I keep on giving you the same answer, but thank you very much for the question. Even if the Knicks ended up beating India, they would have been a huge underdog to OKC. Tibbs really would have had been the 8 ball with this nonsense. Would have been behind the 8 ball with this nonsense. Thank you, Patrick. Paul says, Grant, what have you done with, if you don't like that, is given us a place like Cheers where everybody knows your name. Genuine, honest, good peeps. Rhino, thanks. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. I don't know if I would compare my show to Cheers, but thank you very much. I appreciate it. I love doing this format. I think I've been very open about that. I think it's really, really good during the King season when we have such a huge audience after the games, in particular when I do the show with Rhino. And we'll be doing it again this coming season. Love doing it. It's a lot of fun. It really is. I enjoy doing it very much. Of course, I also thank our sponsors like New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. They're available around the clock, 24/7. Just give them a call. Go to the website. They're awesome. Or you can go to newworksplumbing.com, NEWWRXplumbing.com. New Works Plumbing, they've got a fix for you. Get in touch with them if you need plumbing repairs. They are awesome. Then, of course, there's Brian Bennett with Bennett's, the 3 locations, Sacramento, Roseville, the West Side Grill in Rockland. Don't forget about special place to go for Father's Day, high school, college graduations. Great place to celebrate at Bennett's. Go to bennettsrestaurants.com. Prime Seafood and Steaks. Again, that's bennettsrestaurants.com to make your reservation. Tell Brian and the staff we said hello. We love the support that they give us here on If You Don't Like That. All right, so we are 48 hours away from the NBA Finals. Who are you picking and in how many games? Sea-Dog asks, do I think that McDavid needs a cup to be considered one of the all-time greats? Yeah, he's got to get some jewelry. He's got to have his name on that cup. So, yes, I do, Connor. Yes, I do. And here's the other issue. Again, we're talking about hockey, and in Canada, he's a household name. But, not a lot of people in America are watching Connor McDavid. And I think this gives him another good platform. They got to win a cup. Got to win a cup. I would agree. Judge is not going to end the year hitting 400, Mr. Smile. I would agree with that. Got OKC in 5. OKC in 5. Zion for Zach LaVine. I wouldn't take Zion under any circumstances. No way. Why would you take a guy that gets hurt all the time? All the time. It would make no sense. I think Oklahoma City is going to win the series too. I think that SGA is just too special of a player. It's not like that's the only thing they have. If they win in 6, that means they're going to win the road in Indiana. I could see that happening, actually. I mean, Oklahoma City has proven it doesn't matter. They can win at home. They can win on the road. But, I mean, SGA is just so darn special, isn't he? Gosh, he's good. So good. Cam Johnson would make the Kings better. I'm hoping the Kings don't blow it up and trade for a young point guard. If not, at least pick up Cam Johnson. Great fit next to Sabonis and Murray. What would be wrong with trading for a young point guard? What would be wrong with that? They feel they have a young point guard, but Devin Carter's got a long way to go, in my opinion, to be that guy. I don't, right now, I can't say that would be anything that would give me confidence if I'm running the basketball team. I don't see it. Pitchers throw 90 plus all season. It's tough to hit 400. No way, Jose. Well, it really doesn't matter what era you're talking about, whether they throw 90 plus or 80 plus or 20 plus. Go look at the record books. The Ted Williams don't come around very often. So really, I don't think that pitching has anything to do with it. I think the fact that hitting a baseball could be the hardest thing to do in sport, regardless of what era you're talking about. I don't think Oklahoma City will win in 5, Mr. Smile. I think that they have shown lapses throughout the year, and I think Indiana's playing too well to lose 4 out of 5 games. So I'm going to say I'll make my prediction tomorrow. I'll make my prediction tomorrow. Devin Carter is horrible. That's not true. He's not horrible. Again, you got to remember, he didn't have a off season. He didn't have a summer league. He didn't have a training camp. He got brought in the middle of things. This is a huge off season for him. Huge off season. So he's not horrible. That's being unfair. He's not horrible. Sea-Dog says, haven't seen a golfer as locked in as Scotty Scheffler the way he's been the last month. I did a rant on this today, Sea-Dog. Is this unbelievable? Do you know since May 4th, not counting last night's baseball results, since May 4th, you ready for this, Sea-Dog? Scheffler has as many wins as the Colorado Rockies. Think about that. It's June 3rd. We go back to June 2nd. Think about that. 3 wins for Scheffler since May 4th, equaling the Colorado Rockies. And you know what's sad is one of those wins is against the Yankees, Sea-Dog. I can't see OK in 6 because that would be on the road with that Indy crowd. The Knicks just won in Indy, didn't they, Patrick? OKC won over 60 games this year, Patrick, and they won many, 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 many games on the road. They're not going to have any problem winning a game in Indiana. I mean, I don't think it's going to be easy, but I don't think they're going to be intimidated or they're going to be like thrown off their game because of the crowd in Indy. I think that we put way too much into the crowd. Do I think the reason the Kings go through so many head coaches is because they haven't found the ones that will implement Vivek's revolutionary 4 and 5 defense with a cherry picker on offense? Fans will never forget that. Fans will never like that. That's because nobody really knows anything about Oklahoma City, Mr. Smile, because that's why a lot of people think that their ratings are going to be so poor for the finals. They were the best team in basketball all year. I mean, they were the best team from start to finish. Cleveland went into a tailspin at the end of the year. They're freaking great. They're a great team, but in order to be considered great, you got to win the championship. They're really, really good. And they have a superstar, a true superstar, in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I saw a stat that Oklahoma City was 29-1 against the East this year. How about that? I didn't even realize that. 29-1. Now think about that for a minute. 29-1 against the East. I'll tell you one thing about Oklahoma City. Not only are they good now, and we got this earlier, but they are built for the long term. And when you look at their year, now think about this. They won 68 games. They almost won 70. They were 68-14. And Patrick talks about, they won't win in 6 because of the crowd in Indy. They were 32-8 on the road this year. They don't care about playing on the road. Are you kidding me? 32-8. And you're right about the East. They only lost 1 game all year against the East. Now think about that. They lost 1 game all season against the East. 1 game. Do you know how incredibly impressive that is? To lose only 1 game against a conference all year. I mean, that's unfreaking believable, is it not? I'm trying to figure out the game that they lost on the road or at home against the East. I'm looking it up right now. There we go. I got it. They lost on December 18th to Milwaukee, 97-81. Think about that. One game. One game. Man. Oh, stop it with SGA gets all the calls. Stop it with that nonsense. The guy is one of the best players in basketball, period. I'll tell you, this team, I'm looking at, where's their weaknesses? Where's their weaknesses? They're really freaking good. Grant, what do you think Coach Christie's offensive scheme would be? I am unsure if he will keep the dribble handoff and screen heavy offense. Hopefully the three-point shooting jumps. I don't think it really matters because I think they're going to have a horrible year. Denver took OKC to 7 games in Denver, but a lot of games, role players didn't show up. If Jokic had a dependable role or role player that's consistent, Denver would have won the series. Maybe. Denver, first of all, is not chopped liver. All right? I mean, when you think about Jokic, Murray, Gordon, I mean, that's really good. But your point's well taken. Keon Ellis and Keegan Murray, only players worth keeping. Be interesting to see what they do. Obviously, I shouldn't say obviously. I don't see them blowing it up. But I think with Vivek Ranadive as the owner, it really doesn't matter what you do. Talks about how SGA carries himself on and off the court, class act role model. It's very impressive. Very impressive. And the other thing that, if you're looking at this from Sacramento's perspective, you're light years away from Oklahoma City. Like you're not even you can't even put the two in the same sentence without even knowing what the Kings are going to do in the offseason. Because Oklahoma City is not only good right now, they're built to be good for a long time. They're set up to be so good for so long. And then you look at the other teams in West, and we talk about this all the time. I just don't see it for the Kings. I just don't. Says SGA will be flopping the entire NBA Finals. And don't watch it if it bothers you. Don't watch it. It's very simple. Would the Pacers winning the Finals be considered a huge upset? Yeah, it would. A 4 seed beating a number 1 seed with 68 wins? Yes, it would. It would be considered a huge upset. Yes, it would. I mean, again, a number 4 seed beating a number 1 seed with 68 wins? Yeah, it would be a big upset. Make no mistake about it. Hey, I want to tell you about EDH Motors Automotive Reimagined. David and Adam, just 2 guys trying to do something different and better. If you're looking to sell your vehicle, they can do that. If you're looking to purchase a vehicle, all you need to do is go to their website. You can check out their inventory at edhmotors.com. And if you don't find what you're looking for, no problem. David and Adam, with their, again, vast automotive experience, will find what you're looking for. You'll take delivery at their auto lounge at the El Dorado Hills Town Center. So you don't ever visit a dealership. It's such a beautiful experience. I've been to EDH Motors at the Town Center. It's a long overdue concept. Give David and Adam a call. You got all the information on your screen. You got the email or edhmotors.com. That's edhmotors.com. Automotive Reimagine. That's David and Adam. Again, if you want to give me a call, you can do so. Who is better overall player, Horford or Sabonis? I lean towards Al Horford. Al Horford's had a heck of a career. Okay? But I mean, are we talking about their entire career, or are we talking about right now? Because right now, I mean, the answer is easy. Do I think that the Kings, Anton, you're asking me, should just start over and rebuild? I wouldn't rebuild with Scott Perry. That wouldn't make any sense. The owner is delusional in the way he views his team, and he thinks his team's like good enough to compete for a top 4 spot in the West, because I know how he thinks. So to convince him to do a rebuild, and then they would do it wrong anyway. So I don't think it really matters. I hate to say that. But they didn't hire a 61-year-old executive on his last job to do a rebuild. They didn't do that. So I would be shocked if that were to happen. Shocked. I mean, if you really want the harsh truth of the only way for Sacramento to become a perennial top 4 team is they've got to get the number 1 pick in the draft in a year where a superstar is coming out. That's it. Other than that, it's not going to happen. Unless you get unbelievably lucky, which they did when they drafted Tyrese Halliburton, but they traded him. Generally, you don't find stars of Halliburton's magnitude. You do at times. Nikola Jokic, I mean, is a great example. And I mean, there are examples of it, all right? So I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying it's a lot easier when you have the number 1 pick. Not that that guarantees anything, but it's easier. But when you look at where Halliburton was taken, when you look at where Nikola Jokic was taken, look at where SGA was taken. Go back and look at that draft. Go back and look at the draft of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. All right? Where do you think he would go if that draft were held all over again? Ask yourself that question. Where would he go if that draft were held all over again? I'll try to bring it up for you if I can find it real quick. Where do you think he would go? Right? Let's go over and look at it. Let's go over and look at the draft. You tell me where he would go. And you know, it's always fun to go back and look at certain drafts to figure out, well, gee, that player should go here. This player should go there. When I look at the mistakes that are made, often in drafts, not only the NBA, by the way, all right? Not only the NBA, but in all sports. Look at the NFL. Look at all the mistakes that are made with quarterbacks every year in the NFL draft. Every year. Every single year. Happens all the freaking time. We talk about it all the time, do we not? We talk about it all the time. So let's look at that draft, all right? Because I always love going back and doing this. Because I think it's interesting to try to figure out, well, okay, if this draft were held all over again, who would go where? Who would do this? We're talking about what, 2016, correct? Here we go. All right. Sorry, it's just taking me a little bit of time as I'm doing this on the fly. But I just wonder if, well, first of all, you look at trades, right, that are made before draft day. Some of the worst trades in NBA history are made right before the draft. All right, let me see this here. This is live internet, folks, so we bring it up, we analyze it. And if I can't find it, don't worry about it. But again, we talk about when the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers made a draft and they drafted Markelle Fultz which ends up being one of the worst first-round picks and trades in history. In history. In absolute history. One of the worst. Right? I mean, again, go back and look at that. Lonzo Ball 2, Jason Tatum 3, Josh Jackson 4. Right? Do you think that Philadelphia would make that trade again? To give away a number 1 pick to draft Markelle Fultz? Like, how does that happen? How does that happen? I mean, it's unbelievable. We always talk about bad trades, right? You want to criticize Sacramento for their bad trade. Let's look at that trade. Let's look at that draft. Fultz, Ball, Tatum, Jackson, De'Aaron Fox, Jonathan Isaac, Lauri Markkanen, Frank Ntilikina, Dennis Smith Jr., Zach Collins, Malik Monk, Luke Kennard, Donovan Mitchell, 13th, Bam Adebayo, 14, Justin Jackson, and we go on and on. OG Anunoby taken 23rd. Kyle Kuzma, 27th. Josh Hart, 30th. Unbelievable. Dylan Brooks, 45th. So, amazing. I would still take Luka over SGA. I wouldn't. I wouldn't take Luka over SGA. I wouldn't. I look at Luka right now. I look at his body. I look at his absolutely pathetic defense. I'm sorry. I don't think I would take Luka over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's just too special of a player. And Luka, again, with his body being the way it is. But I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was taken 11th in the 2018 draft. All right? I mean, it's just puzzling when you look at trades. You know, a lot of people don't even remember he wasn't even on the Oklahoma City Thunder until he had already played with the Clippers. The Clippers had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So would you, I'll ask you all right now, would you take Luka Doncic over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? I wouldn't. No way. I wouldn't. I would not do it. Give me Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Well, I'll even go a step further. If I was starting a basketball team today and I could take any player that I wanted, I would take SGA, and I really mean that. I would take him because I think he is that special. And he plays the quarterback position. And I want a point guard running my team who is the best player on the team. Because when you're point guard, the Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry, all right? I mean, look at the draft we're talking about. Ayton, Bagley, Doncic, Jaren Jackson, Trae Young, Mo Bamba, Wendell Carter Jr., Colin Sexton, Kevin Knox, Mikal Bridges, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. If that draft were held all over again, Luka and SGA would go 1-2 or 2-1. There's no doubt. I would take SGA 1 personally. But let's say you would take Luka 1. SGA would go 2, right? Correct? Marvin Bagley would not be a first-round draft pick. No way. Ayton would probably go top 5. Trae Young would be top 5. Michael Porter Jr. would go higher than 14. Dante DiVincenzo would go higher than 17. Grayson Allen would go higher than 21. Anthony Simons would go higher than 24. You know, you can always look at a draft. All right, how about this? Jalen Brunson, second-round pick in 2018, taken 33rd overall. I would take Jalen Brunson over Trae Young in a New York second. So right there, he's going third. How about that? Pretty amazing, is it not? Jalen Brunson, second-round pick, taken 33rd overall. I wouldn't even think twice about taking him ahead of Trae Young. Incredible. Incredible. Would I take SGA over Wemby? Yes. I'm concerned about Wemby's body. I just see, I don't know how the guy's going to be able to stay healthy. I just don't. I hope I'm wrong because the guy is so fun to watch. But I'm not so sure. I don't know. I just don't know. I do know about Sunrise Landing, a beautiful residential community in Calusa. You go to calusasunrise.com, a Blazona development project. Check out their many models adjacent to the Calusa Golf and Country Club. No Mellorews, no homeowners, easy to get to, I-5, Highway 45, Highway 20. So you have great access no matter where you're coming from. That's Sunrise Landing in Calusa. Go to calusasunrise.com and check it out yourself. Once again, that is Sunrise Landing. Don't forget, Ryan joins me after game one. We look forward to breaking that down right here on If You Don't Like That. I could see the Thunder blowing out the Pacers in game one. That would not surprise me. And I wonder if we're looking at a series that's going to be close or if we're going to be looking at a lopsided series. And it'll be, again, I keep talking about this. It's going to be very interesting to see what the ratings are. I will be watching hockey, the Stanley Cup playoffs. Obviously, they don't go head-to-head with the NBA, but I cannot wait. I'm looking forward to that. Would I take Halliburton or Anthony Edwards first in 2020? I would take Anthony Edwards over Halliburton. But, you know, all the intangibles that Halliburton brings, I'd have to think about that. But I think Anthony Edwards still, younger. I like his upside. I'd be fine with either or, but I'd probably take him. Says Halliburton over Ant for sure. I can't say for sure. I can't say that. All right, tomorrow, right back here at 8 o'clock, Rhino joins me on Thursday, game one of the NBA Finals. We wrap up the week Friday. Love having you on. Love the questions. Appreciate the heck out of you all. And we'll talk to you tomorrow right here on If You Don't Like That. I don't deal with rumors, by the way, so don't give me rumors that you heard on a Sacramento sports talk station, which mean nothing to me. But thanks for the question. Have a good evening, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.